Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mongooli Show. If you clicked on this thumbnail, then I'm sorry, but you just proved that clickbait thumbnails actually work. Hey, whoa! Don't go anywhere. I promise this is going somewhere good. You just give us a second. We'll get there. What we're talking about today is Dark Dimension 7, and in fact, all of the Dark Dimensions. One of the things that drives me absolutely insane is when you see content creators or other people in the community telling you to build a certain character because they're good in Dark Dimension when they are crap everywhere else. If you're building up a character with crimson gear or whatever the highest level gear is that you're working on, and you are doing it on a character that you're not going to use in any other game mode, I think those are wasted resources. I think that's a waste of time. Maybe you get done Dark Dimension 1 day or 2 days faster, but is that worth it when it takes you weeks to get the crimson gear you need for that character? That's what we're going to be talking about today, so let's jump into the actual video. All right, before we get into the bulk of the video, I'm just going to say we are pushing to get to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So if you enjoy this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really does help with this channel a lot. And honestly, if you're already subscribed, hit the like button or even just leave a comment down below. That kind of engagement really does help to get these videos seen by more and more people. If you think this comment is worthwhile, share it in your Discord comment. If you think this video is worthwhile, share it in your Discord. Make sure it gets out to as many eyes as you possibly can. And honestly, if you don't think that this video was worth your time, leave that comment down below. Let me know what I did wrong or what I could do to make this better in the future. Either way, let's get into it. Now, it's worth mentioning before we get into this video, I am not in Dark Dimension yet. I am still working towards it. We work on a budget of essentially buying 2 battle passes or strike passes a month. So that gives us our Crimson gear, as well as we're doing Incursion 2.3. So we've got a decent amount of Crimson gear coming in, but we're not quite there yet. If we take a look at the Dark Dimension map, we can see that the first 3 nodes require to have gear tier 19, but that is it. You can bring in whatever characters you want into those 3 nodes. I'm going to highly recommend you bring in your arena team for this because you're going to get a ton of value from that team. You're going to be using them absolutely daily, and all of those characters can be used except for usually later on. Now, right here, right now, if you're watching this right away, the arena meta is very heavily Old Man Logan, Apocalypse, Black Knight, Super Skrull, and a random 5th character depending on what you're feeling. Those 4 characters you're going to use every single day, whether it's Arena, whether it's War, or whether it's Cosmic Crucible. None of those characters are particularly useful in Raid, maybe Super Skrull if on the bio lanes, but other than that, you're not really using them in Raid, but that's the only game mode you're not really using them. The other game modes, they're incredibly useful, and they will work very well in these first 3 nodes, as well as some of the later on nodes, depending on the character and which node they actually fit into. But every one of those characters we're going to use multiple times throughout this map, so I think those are solid characters to build, and I think they're going to be great in this game for a very long time. I don't see any one of those 4 characters falling off anytime soon. Now, for the 5th character, there's a lot of other options. I'm personally going with Robbie as my first choice because you'll also need him for the city node, and that's what we're going to get into next is city, and then we'll go through the rest of the map. Now, the easier way to go through that map is actually here at marvelstrikeforce.com, where you can see they have a planning guide for you for Dark Dimension 7. I realize this sounds incredibly basic for some higher level players, but there are people who don't know these things. So if you do head to marvelstrikeforce.com, these 3 lines up here, you're going to go to your roster and then click the Dark Dimension Planner, and it'll bring you here. You can see there's all the Dark Dimensions at the very top. You can click on which one you're working on, and it'll help you out. So if we're working on Dark Dimension, we can see that we're going to go through non-legendary, non-mythic, city, global, cosmic, then legendary, and then mythic. It doesn't have the 3 nodes at the beginning because you can bring in literally any characters for those first 3 nodes. As far as city goes, I already said that Robbie Reyes is my #1 choice. You can see that I've almost got him at gear tier 19. He's so close. He needs 1 piece of gear and we'll have him there. He is an absolute baller character. You're going to use him in every single game mode except for Raid, I guess. He's very impactful in Arena still. He's probably the only member of that team that you still see consistent play with. He's just an absolutely rock star. From there, you got a couple of options. I personally really like Craven and Lizard to fill that roster out a little bit. And Vulture, now that you've got 2 of the superior 6s, is going to do even better. He's going to get some of his extra buffs because you've got that team. And he's pretty cheap to make. Now, these characters are also incredibly good in Cosmic Crucible and War, so you're not going to feel bad about bringing any of these characters up. For the 5th spot, you got a couple of options. I personally really like Big Time Spider-Man. That's a character that I'm building up and readying for it. But if you don't like Big Time Spider-Man as much as I do, if you don't see that he's got the value, I use him every time in Cosmic Crucible, and he's an amazing war defensive character. But I understand war defense characters aren't sexy, so I understand why people don't want to build him. You've got other options, including Miss Marvel Hardlight or Spider Slayer are probably two of the better ones that I would choose. Now, Spider-Man Noir is also a pretty solid pick, and you're going to use him in the raids. So maybe I'd actually take him over Hardlight now that I'm saying that out loud. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to say Spider-Man Noir, Spider Slayer, or Big Time Spider-Man is your best option for a fifth. Now, I've already got Big Time Spider-Man up to gear tier 19, so I'm going to go with him in this position. Again, if you don't like that choice, probably Noir and then Spider Slayer are your two better options. For the global section of the game, we already talked about Black Knight, so he is going to be an absolute no-brainer, assuming I can actually find him. Here we go. He's definitely making the list. He is one of the best characters in the game right now, shy of Mephisto. He's right up there with Old Man Logan, I think, for first place. After that, Apocalypse or Super Skrull would be kind of second. So like those four are your best ones. So he's a no-brainer in this category. I also really like Nightcrawler, and I think he's going to do a ton of work here. He sees a little bit of arena play, not a whole lot, but works his butt off in Cosmic Crucible and is an amazing raid character. So I'm going to pick him second. And now this last three picks, I guess, are pretty personal because I love Cosmic Crucible, and the best Cosmic Crucible team right now is the Cabal. Because you can get all three of them in this game mode, I'm going to actually go for that, picking all three and throwing them on this roster. Assuming I can find them. There he goes. I knew they were close. I didn't realize they were right beside each other. And then Namor's right up here. So you got three Cabal members. So they're going to work really well together. They're also going to do tons of work. They do really well in War, although that's not their main home. And in Cosmic Crucible, they are the best you can possibly have. So we're going to get a lot of value from those characters. Now, the Cosmic section is one of the harder ones to do. Not for all of them, because you got three characters that are kind of no-brainers in Kang, Val, and Void Knight. Now, Void Knight and Val are both characters that you're seeing in Raid, and you're going to see in Raid for quite some time. Val's team isn't great, and we're going to be the next one to get replaced, so you might be wondering why we're bringing Val in, but the fact that she does such amazing damage and can revive characters is really good for the longevity that you need in Dark Dimension. On top of that, because she is a character that is unique to the game, like she's made by Scopely, I think we're going to see that they're going to keep reviving these characters over and over and over again. You're probably going to see her come back in some sort of an Asgardian team or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised for her to get a rework down the line. Now, following that logic, those first three characters are up there. That's what we're going with for sure, no-brainers. There's an argument to be made for Deathpool because of the exact same thing. She's on a New Warriors team. You're going to see her with a lot of play in Cosmic Crucible and War, but she's also a unique, sorry, I keep saying unique, that's not the right word, an original character. So you're gonna see her probably get a rework again at some point because they want to keep these characters alive. Maybe honestly, they might even make, if they make a fifth original character, they might make an entirely original character team, which would be kind of dope to see, honestly. So I wouldn't disparage you for picking her. The other option you can go with is the Eternals. Now, they're not as strong as they used to be, but they still do a ton of work in pretty much any game mode you put them in. Not so much Arena, but, you know, Crucible or War, they still do a ton of work. They're very, very good. The problem with them is you really do want both of them. They're not as good apart from each other, and they're both Mystic, and we've already got Val as a Mystic, so that's a lot of Mystic, and I guess Robbie is a Mystic as well. So that's a lot of Mystics to be choosing. So I don't know if you want to go with that, but unfortunately, in the Cosmic section, all of the best characters are going to be Mystics. Now, there is the option for Photon because she is not Mystic, but I don't think she's good enough in this game, and I think she's falling off fast enough that you don't really want to spend the resources on her unless you've already got her built up, in which case, you know, so be it. She's already there. But if you don't, I can't really recommend her other than the Mystic gear is going to be tight with everybody else that you could choose. I'm really looking around at the Cosmic section. I'm not really seeing anybody else. I mean, I like Hela quite a bit, but I feel like that's this season of Cosmic Crucible really only. She's good in War, but she's not top tier by any stretch. And again, Mystic, so you're not really getting away from that Mystic problem with her. There's not a whole lot here that I'm seeing, so I probably would recommend Eternals. If you wanted to bring Deathpool up, I wouldn't disparage you, but then I don't know what your fifth character is going to be, so I think the Eternals are the best choice. Now, once we get down to Legendary, we've got a couple of, again, no-brainers. Old Man Logan is very, very possibly the best character in the game right now, so we're picking him for sure. You're definitely going to want him for Arena, for Cosmic Crucible, for War. I'm even seeing people playing him in raids, in the Incursion raids, so he's an absolute no-brainer. On top of that, Green Goblin, I think, is a very, very safe bet. I think Black Cat's falling off, but I still think she's got good value in this game. So I think she's a good one to pick. And I really like Nova. He does your healing ability, stuff like that. He gives you longevity. So that's really, really nice. So that gives us 4 of the 5. And then we have one last one to pick. And I think your 3 best bets, yes, 3, kind of goes with your flavor. Rogue, you're seeing a ton of play with her in Cosmic Crucible, joining the Extreme X-Men team. So that's an option. It's my least favorite of the options, but it's an option. Omega Red with his trauma and his the amount of damage he can put out, but also the amount of damage he can take. He's a really good tank for this team. He can survive for quite some time. He's really good. But Doc Ock, even though he's on the expensive side of the spectrum, is my favorite here. He's amazing in War. He's amazing in Cosmic Crucible. He gives you another member of the team that can work as fodder. He gives you heals. He's just an absolutely great character, and he's going to work well with your Green Goblin, which you're going to really like. So that's the one I would go with. It is unfortunate he's so expensive. I don't love that, especially because Old Man Logan is also expensive. But Old Man Logan, you're definitely going to want 100%, and I think Doc Ock is your best bet after that. Now, it's worth noting that once you get down to the Mythic section, you only need 4 characters, not 5, so that's important. 2 of the absolute best characters in the game are Apocalypse and Super Skrull. They're part of your arena team, so they're no-brainers. We're definitely picking them. After that, Kestrel and Dormammu are both very, very strong characters that you're definitely going to want in this game. So we're going to go with them. Kestrel's part of the raid team, so you're definitely going to be using her very often. The Pegasus team still has some value in other game modes, which is nice. And she's one of the Marvel Strike Force originals, so again, she'll probably see a rework. Dormammu with his revive ability has gotten a little bit worse because there's so many characters that can kill you where you don't get to revive, but I think he's always going to have some amount of value because that is still a really strong mechanic that you do have to build around if you want to kill it. So there is value there, even though it's not as strong as it once was. Now, on your second run, obviously you're going to go with Mephisto, but I'm going to assume we're on our first run when we're doing this list, so I'm going to say Doom is your best 5th. Again, you only need 4, but definitely I think Doom is better than either Ultron or Ultimus, so we'll go with him for now. So here we go with the raid teams that we're going to build. Again, for the first couple of nodes, build your arena team. All of them are, well, all of the teams I'm using in arena are showing up in one of these nodes, one way or the other. So the arena team is definitely the one you want to go for. For city nodes, I'm going with Robbie, Craven, Lizard, Vulture, and I'm picking Big Time Spider-Man, but I understand that one might be a little controversial. For global, Black Knight and Nightcrawler are no-brainers, and then for me, I'm going with the 3 members of the Cabal because I use them every single time in Cosmic Crucible, and it always feels good. For Cosmic, you got a little more up in the air. I think Kang, Val, and Void Knight are all no-brainers. All 3 of these characters are amazing and are going to be good for quite some time. And then after that, I chose the Eternals. It's a little iffy. That's probably the iffiest choice I've got on my entire list is the Eternals, but honestly, there's just nothing better in Cosmic Crucible, in Cosmic at the moment to replace them. So I think they're the best bet, but I would strongly recommend, like, don't build them up until you get to Cosmic, because we have no idea what this game holds. If you're still months away, I wouldn't choose these characters first to build up. I'd wait till you get to them, because as a wise man once said, the best characters in Marvel Strike Force are not in Marvel Strike Force yet. For Legendary, Old Man Logan and Green Goblin are both absolute no-brainers. I think Black Cat and Nova are the next best characters you could possibly choose, and I'm going with Dr. Octopus, but you could switch him out for Omega Red or possibly Rogue. And then for Mystic, this one seems like the easiest choices you're going to make. Super Skrull and Apocalypse, absolutely. Dormammu and Kestrel are both incredibly good. And Doom if you've got the resources, and if you can make it through without spending on Doom, great. Build up Mephisto afterwards and come through with Mephisto on your second run. I can't stress enough, though, don't build any of these characters until you're ready to get in Dark Dimension, with the exception of your arena team, because that's going to get you, I guess that is going to get you in the front door, so that's kind of redundant. But build your arena team first, and then build city, then build global, then build cosmic, and make sure that there haven't been new characters that have come out between when this video goes live and when you're ready to walk in the door of that next node, because there's nothing worse than wasting a bunch of resources and setting yourself back a while. I did that with Dark Dimension 6, and that's why I'm here to tell you, you don't want to build characters because they're cheap. I built Sabretooth to get in Dark Dimension 6 because he was cheap. I have seen no value from that character. He wasn't good in Dark Dimension. He's not good in War. He's not good in Cosmic Crucible. He's got no arena play. He is a dead Gear Tier 18 toon. I use him on the Weapon X team because that's his home, but honestly, the thing they're designed to do, which is kill heroes for hire, they're not even the best team to do that anymore. So don't waste your resources on cheap characters just because they're cheap. Use your resources on characters you want to use. All right, and that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, you made it this far, you probably did, hit that like button. Let me know that you enjoyed it. If I made any choices that you think are wrong or that there's better choices, leave them down in the comments section. Let me know which ones you think you should be taking in. Or am I completely wrong and Ravager Stitcher is actually amazing? I'll make fun of you, but you can say it in the comments if you want. If you like this video, hit subscribe so you can see more great content like this when it comes out. That would be amazing. Again, we're trying to hit 1,000. At the moment, we're sitting around 850, so we're getting really close, but we're not quite there yet. If you can help me out with that, that would be amazing. Until next time, Commanders, I hope you're safe, I hope you're well, and good luck to you.